I don't know if it's breaking news, but it's being treated as such. LeBron James' son, Bronny James, will be in the NBA draft. Today was the deadline for him if he wanted to go back to college. And I never heard any rumblings of maybe going to Arkansas with John Calipari, also Duquesne with a connection with LeBron James there, maybe going back to USC, maybe going to SMU where Andy Enfield, who was the USC coach, is now the head coach. He is going into the draft right now rated as the 54th best prospect. And I want to talk to Chris Haynes from Bleacher Report, also TNT. He's working the Western Conference Finals. And I want to ask him about, what's going on with Rich Paul is LeBron's agent, and it feels like they're trying to place Bronny James. They're letting teams know as if they have the power here, they're in control. This isn't a high school recruit picking his college, but you get the feeling that LeBron James's camp and his agent, Rich Paul, are saying to teams he's going to pick where he wants to play. Or who's going to draft him? Well, it's the Lakers. That's where you would want him to go, and LeBron would want him to go there. Everybody stays in Los Angeles. LeBron then will be able to get his new contract, and then he'll still be a Laker. And, Rich Paul slipped. Maybe it was on purpose that LeBron is a free agent now. And that, I think, brought a little attention there to a situation we thought, no, it's a mere formality. He's going to opt back in or get his new contract and stay with the Lakers. So just something to keep an eye on, that LeBron James' son is going to stay in the draft and basically telling teams, hey, he's not going to be a guy you're going to put down in the G League. He's going to play. We want to make sure he is developed. We want to make sure there's a financial commitment. All of these things for a guy who didn't even average 5 points a game in college, this is really unheard of. But then there's one Bronny James here. Until Bronny's brother comes into the NBA, and then they probably try to do the same thing as LeBron, be 45 years of age, trying to dictate this. Yes, Paul.
It almost has apples and oranges and Eli Manning feel to it, while being a second-round pick, not the number one overall. The father, who has a lot of juice, and the agent, who had a lot of juice, manipulating the system to try to get their son in a certain place.
Yeah, but Eli was the number one overall pick.
Yeah.
Bronny, I don't know if he can play in the NBA. And everybody chooses their words carefully. And they're like, he's got a great upside. He understands the game. He's physical. He's a good defender. Got a good shot. I mean, okay. There's a lot of guys who have that. A lot of guys who have a whole lot more than that. So I look at this two different ways. He's Bronny James, and he could be successful in the NBA and still be a failure to people. If he averages, let's say, 10 points a game, that'd be a failure. Let's say he played for 10 years. That would be a failure to people. But also, he's getting attention because his name. If his name was, Bronny Smith, no one would care. But it's Bronny James. He's going to have an inordinate amount of pressure on him when he gets to the NBA because we're going to go, okay, what do you got? Let me see what you got. Let me see when you're playing against the pros. If you couldn't play well at a high level, in the Pac-12, now you're going to go to the NBA. This is there's going to be a bright spotlight on him. Now, by all accounts, he's handled himself quite well. And even everything he went through at USC. I was hoping he'd play one more year in college just to see if he does develop. And there's late bloomers. We see this all the time with players. Maybe he is a late bloomer. Maybe he's going to be one of those, 8th, 9th player off the bench, be able to play some minutes, quality minutes, maybe be a guy who plays defense, runs the point, backup point guard. I don't know if he's a starter, but I watch USC games, not highlights. I watched games this year. And usually Marvin and I would, communicate back and forth because I would say, are you watching? And then there were times when I'd watch USC play and I didn't even know he was on the floor. But then he would have these moments, and maybe he gets a fair shot here, maybe more than a fair shot because of his last name. I would hope to tamp down some of the expectations that are going to be there because he's not going to be able to achieve, like Michael Jordan's kids. I mean, they played in college, but they didn't play at a high level. didn't get to the NBA. Wasn't even talk of, if Mike said, hey, I want to play with, one of my sons in the NBA, somebody probably would have made that happen. But LeBron has made it his mission that, before he exits stage left, he's going to play with his son in the NBA. Yes, Marv.
The one thing me and you got from watching USC games is that Isaiah Collier is a baller.
Yes.
We were like, oh, Bronny James. Okay, anyway, about Isaiah Collier, that's all we talked about when we used to text.
Yes, because that guy was bringing it every time. And you're like, if that was Bronny doing that, then people would go, oh.
First pick.
Yeah, he's going to, because this isn't a great NBA draft. So factor that in. They're trying to get coverage here. The mothership is like, can we get clicks? Yeah, how about we just focus on Bronny James? That's it. I mean, Reed Shepherd from Kentucky? That ain't going to happen. A couple of UConn players? That ain't going to happen. There's no buzz here. And here's Bronny is the name. Whether he goes in the first round or second round, he's going to get drafted. The question is, who takes him? And, how much power does he have? Yeah, Seton.
There are a few things in this business more difficult than pumping the brakes. Is that really what we do?
Yes.
Just look at Anthony Edwards' last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He was the next Michael Jordan, by far the closest thing we've ever seen to Michael Jordan. This is it, and we're watching it from the very beginning. Like, well, he can't win in the play. Look at he's going to get swept in the say, hey, look at he had the game. He put the team on his back. It is a roller coaster ride, and he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt of hey, guys, don't compare him to his dad. Okay? His dad's a totally separate player. He's his own person, whatever. It's kind of what this business is now.
I know, but I'm
and
old.
Bronny James is caught up in that for sure.
I know. I'm old school, and that's why as soon as those comparisons with Michael Jordan, I said, he doesn't want it. He never asked for it.
Hell no.
And he can't live up to that right now. Nobody can.
The road of the NBA is littered with the bodies of former Michael Jordans, and this dude doesn't want it either.
No, and he's a really good player. He's not Michael Jordan. But that rush to judgment, who's he remind you of? It's like when Keith Van Horn came into the NBA, and they go, man, he's just like Larry Bird. I go, no, he's not. No, he's white, and that's where the comparisons end. He's not. Man, when you have a white guy who can shoot three, he reminds me of Dirk Nowitzki. No. Brad Lohaus is not Dirk Nowitzki.
Whoa. Watch it.
Why is he catching strays right
I
now?
don't know. I just came to mind.
Serviceable big man.
Yes. But get ready for it, because that's what the draft is going to be about. And, I hope he gets an opportunity to just play. It's not going to happen, but this is the father in me, and this is somebody with 40 years of experience of witnessing all of this in all of these sports, where this guy is the next. And I always say, no, nobody's the next. We want to make them the next. They're not. You forge your own path there. That's the beauty of sports. There's nobody like certain players, and there never will be. There'll never be another Tiger Woods. Somebody can swing like him, hit like him, even look like him. They won't be Tiger Woods. There's not another Jack Nicklaus. I mean, down through history, there's not another of all these great players. The only one who's close with Michael Jordan was Kobe, because Kobe was same size and modeled his game, studied. He wanted to be Mike. That's as close as we ever got. But he still wasn't Mike.